Hey guys, welcome back to Match Fishing TV UK. A lot of people have asked what's actually in my box. People are generally quite nosy. I know I like to have a look at what the other YouTubers have got inside their boxes. So now it's my turn, so let's have a look at what we've got inside this baby. Let's dive in. So guys, I think the first thing to look at is the front of the box. So it's a Matrix S25. If you've seen my video from last January, I picked it up then. Really been a sturdy bit of kit for me this year. 25mm legs as opposed to 36Y. It was a bit cheaper. Don't spend a lot of time out in the water. I'm generally on sort of banks and platforms like I am today. Absolutely fine, solid as a rock for me. I made some tweaks though in the past couple of weeks. I decided to change things up. So I don't often carry the winder trays underneath here, but what I have done is I've added a deep tray and a winder tray underneath here. The reason being, I can take it out. The deep tray I can have any other odds and sods that I need in there and just have it sat to one side. The winder tray, if I'm pole fishing, is on the top there. I can take the deep tray off if I need to. I don't have to have it on. So let's have a slide out. So at the moment I think I've got the deep one on the top. No particular reason for that. But as you can see, what's in the deep tray at the moment? Not a lot, because I need to have a sort out is the honest answer. Got some very basic scales there. If for some reason I wanted to weigh something. Got the catapults in there. I've got a spare keep net arm, a long one and a short one. That's about it. But the sort of stuff that could go in there, if I want to cut down on bags I'm taking, etc., you know, I can just dump it in there and have it part of the seat box. Underneath is a very, at the moment, empty. I can get it open. Winder tray set. So I'm in the process of making up all my rigs for the coming season. What I tend to do is make up what I need rather than fill this tray up. I've got some other rigs that I've been using today which are actually in the top of this box. They're on different winders, but I've got all the stuff at home and I just need to sit down and do it, to be honest. So I'm sure a lot of you can probably sympathise with that. Actually having the patience to sit and make up rigs for a few hours, but it's on the agenda to get this filled up for the coming weeks. I've had a little bit of a break with matches, and I've got some matches coming up in February and March, so I'm going to need to be ready for those. So that's what's underneath. Put it to one side. So the top section I've had a change up because I did have a deep tray sat here and a drawer. Now I'm over 6 foot tall. I find that I need the extra height on the box to get myself comfortable, to get my weight forward, especially when I'm pole fishing, stuff like that. So what have I got now? Well, if I start at the top, this section is often overlooked by people because it's not really a sort of proper section in here, but what I tend to keep in here is obviously my important stuff. So my licenses, Anglers Trust membership, Angling Trust membership, sorry, all that kind of stuff. I've got a spare few winders in here today because, as I say, I've not actually made up a lot of rigs on the new winders yet. I've got some old rigs that I've made up that I've just been messing around with today. And I've also got this little fella, which is a Plumb Easy float, which you're going to see in some coming videos, which I'm playing around with on the pole at the moment to see how it works and whether it will make life a bit easier on some of the venues I'm at. So that's the top bit, and the middle sections you can't do anything with, so it's irrelevant because I said I've moved from having a deep tray and 2 drawer units to having 2 drawer units this year. So I've got one on top and one underneath. And the reason for that is I just wanted to get a little bit more organised and have my hook lengths, etc. stored a bit neater, because I was kind of pulling them out of the bag or pulling them out of that deep section. I want them to hand, I want to be able to slide the drawer out when I'm sitting on the box and not have to worry. So, top drawer. First section here, you know, got the neat matrix organisers, brilliant stuff. Stuff like bread punches, meat punches, etc. So I've got the matrix ones in there. They're fantastic. I absolutely love them. Some spare stops, number 8. So when you're feeder fishing or when you're pole fishing, you need to make a quick adjustment. They're to hand. Some tape for marking up your pole. Some Tipp-Ex if you want to use that for marking up your pole. Scissors, obviously. A spare little punching tool that I've got just in case for some reason I lose any of these, but I don't think I've ever used that, but that's still there. Trusty old plummet. I think I've had this plummet for about 10 years probably. Never lets me down. You don't need to reinvent the wheel in my opinion. Some spare hands-free headphones, so when I'm being called from home, etc. They're quite handy to have in, especially if you're playing a fish at the same time. Marker pens. So what I've got is I've got a black one, they're for doing float tips. I've got a silver one which I can use on float bodies, so they're really handy, these Sharpies. And I've got a blue one there which is just for marking winders, etc. No real reason for having a blue one, to be honest. It was just a little tiny one that fitted in there. Moving on in this section, disgorges. So obviously the disgorges. I normally have a set of forceps in here, but I'm not quite sure where they've got to. As I say, I'm having a bit organised. I've got some maggot feeders sat in there from a recent session. They should be sat in the back there. More scissors. Bait band tool. It's a really old one, but still works. Various sort of bait drills, going through boilies and pellets and stuff like that. I've got a few different old ones there. Some random very fine punches that I've got for when it gets really cold, so like today. Some boilie stops, old school. And yeah, that's pretty much that section. So moving on, I've got feeders of all different shapes and sizes. I tend to dump them in there depending on where I'm going. I did used to carry a big box of feeders, and I'm trying to slim down what I'm taking to the bank because it was getting ridiculous. Spare plummet, always carry a spare. And various bombs. So I've got the matrix cubed bombs here. I've got some old Preston pear-shaped bombs, some really tiny ones, ranging in size up to probably about an ounce I'll carry on any given day. A few banjo method feeders in there. This isn't the extensive selection of feeders I've got, but as I say, I just tend to put them in when I need them. And then moving right into the back here, this is the real random section, so I just put some maggot feeders in there. So I always carry maggot feeders. It's a great backup if things aren't going too well for you. And something that I've got onto recently for the pole is these. So these are tyre crayons, and I think they're fantastic. You can mark up your pole, get your depth absolutely right, and it just wipes off. A lot easier than Tipp-Ex in my opinion, and a lot less fiddly than putting a bit of tape around. So it's a good tip there. I've got a few random wagglers sat in the back there, and I've got a lighter if I need to, for whatever reason, burn anything off. I don't smoke, so there you go. And then this second drawer, so this is the one I'm not excited about, but I think it's going to make a difference to me this year in terms of, you know, being more organised. But hooks. So I carry my hooks in these little waterproof pencil cases that I got from B&M. They're silicone. Little tip here, and I've got a variety of ready-made hooks in there, and hooks that I've also tied up myself. And I just store them as heavy or light in general. And then I have other spools of ready-made hooks. I usually carry some lime with me, so I've got a bit of fluorocarbon in there for if I need to make up some hook lengths for feeder fishing. I have various hooks, so I've got some loose eyed hooks in here, some midi bagging carp hooks that I want to give a go to because somebody recommended, so I've got a few of those in there. I've got some ready tied method rigs, I really like these Guru ones, and I've also got stopwatch because I use that a lot with method, not method feeder but feeder fishing, and a couple of counters, and I've tried to be extra special with these if you like. The black one's for carp, the silver one is for, you guessed it, spit shot, just in case you're doing a bit of waggler fishing, and right in the back here some PVA for making up little tea bags. So that's the box. As I say, I'm trying to really kind of drum down on the amount of stuff I'm taking. So I was taking a big holdall and the seat box, etc. I'm trying to find a nice place where I've got most of what I need to hand in the seat box, so I don't have to faff around. I don't have a lot of time with work and stuff, so it's really handy if I don't have to go and spend a half day sort of getting all my gear together before I've got a match. So if I can just dump it straight in the car and I know that most of the stuff is there, job's are good and I can just concentrate on going and getting bait. Right, so that's a little tour of my fishing seat box. Hope you enjoyed it. It's a bit messy at the moment. I need to give it a good old clean out, and I will do that over the next couple of weeks, but see you next time.